when we want to understand the roots of what we are living right now, the anti-Cold War, which works as a foundation for the scholars, is precious. The careful examination of this context shows that the principal goal of the Soviet approach was to erase the past and any of its contributions. In other words, it was an attempt to assassinate time from the space of ideology. As a consequence, everything of the future would have been dependent only upon the present, the choice of the revolution. It was for them just a necessary intermediate to get an even more general target. That's why the anti-Cold War constitutes a splitting effect in the natural space-time continuum. And the Soviets wanted to break the continuum with the process, which is like a stochastic model describing a sequence of possible events in which the probability of each event depends only on the state attained in the previous event. i.e., a Markov chain. Because of the existence of the past, this radical approach was the only way they found and tried to conquest the free world without history. So the point is without history. We have the past. They wanted to erase this contribution, so no history. And they want one present, which is the choice of the revolution. From that point, they want to do moves that are related, and they are depending only of that point. So imagine a chessboard, okay? Imagine that we are playing together many games. At the end of each of the game, we have the same position for the following, the starting position. If we are playing together, for example, 10 games, between us, there will be an history, because in game 1, you will play with white something, one opening. In game 2, because we change, I will do my choice. And if I see that in game 3, you do the same choice, but with a variation, I will keep it in mind, especially if you had a victory, because I will know that I have to change something to avoid another defeat. You see? In fact, we have 10 different games, but they are correlated. It's not a chain like Markov. So in fact, for them, the idea was the following. You play game 1, you finish, for example, Tsar, and now they're playing game 2. They don't care about the other game. They erase the memory of the opponents. They say, for example, I will not pay anything. No debt. Tsar debt, I mean. And I will play from now until the end. If you accept this, the game is not related. So, in fact, you are at the starting point of a Markov chain. And logically, you will have only events which are depending of just the previous one. So one move. This is possible, in fact, for very easy things. But even in one game, so now I will not take any more to 10 games, only one. I have in mind Richard also, because he loves games. Imagine just in one game. So you can say that, okay, it's a one opening. For example, Sicilian defense. So E4, C5, etc. You can take a variation. Nice though. But we don't care. Imagine that now we have an opening, which is clear. And now you want to change something. If you change only one move, this move, it should be correlated with the opening, because the opening is an history, a small history, but history. That's why with AlphaGo, when we put the choice, the first move of Sicilian defense, he found the following, which are correct. So in fact, he found the data of history without this knowledge before. This means that the moves are very correlated. So there is a shape, a structural shape. Now, if you say, like the Soviets, okay, I will try something totally new. You have a splitting effect because you say that it's only dependent of this chessboard at this time. But even if you do that, because the game was a real game, there is a correlation. I mean, imagine now that I remove the idea of the game and I take only a problem. So I put the pieces and the pawns in an arbitrary way just to create a problem, a study, for example. Okay, I don't care, in fact, how I got this position. It's not important for the problem. But now, if I show this to a grandmaster, maybe he will be able to find the previous moves with only one picture, because he knew the opening. So if you are very close to the opening, it's possible. If you are very far, it's no more possible, but maybe for AlphaGo. But this will be, in fact, a retrograde analysis, like, you know, with Sherlock Holmes and Watson, we play some problems like this. My idea is the following. If you want to do this, you have to create a problem which is not related to history. So, in fact, it's not a construction, it's a destruction. So the starting point is not a revolution, is demolition, is tabula rasa. That's all. So you can do everything, but what? You can do everything for your mind, but for the mind of the opponents, it's impossible. For which empire it will be possible? The British one? The French one? Or even the United States? It was impossible. So they had in mind the previous steps, previous history. But for the Soviet system, it was useless. this is already an error.